What's up, guys? Racing Richard here, wearing my helmet because this is serious. I got this right here. See that? It is the new Dragy, or new to me. Maybe I've seen reviews of it on YouTube or something. But this little dude right here will record your 0 to 60 and your 1/8 mile, 1/4 mile, and 1/2 mile time. So I got it charged up and I downloaded the app on my phone. And we're gonna give it a try. So let's get to it. Hey guys, I'm back from my first use of the Dragy. Letting the car cool off because I don't know how hot it is. My coolant gauge just quit. So anyways, moving on. I put the Dragy right here. It's magnetic, so that's a good place for it to go. I can keep an eye on it. I don't want to lose it. It would be really sad if it blew off my car. So let me tell you about the run right now. Okay, the place that I picked to do this run was a little bit flawed. I thought I had enough of a straightaway for 1/8 mile, and it turns out that I didn't. So no big deal. I'm gonna try it again a little further back, and it'll be, you know, my last part of the 1/8 mile was actually in a slight turn. I didn't like it. Excuse me. So anyways, but it is a new best. It's a 914 with a previous best of a 921. Another thing good about this best is that it was in a slight, you know, there's some flaws in it, so there's room for improvement. It was a slight turn at the end. Let's see, I always run this car with ice on the intake. I didn't ice it down before I did it. And what was the other thing? Ice on the intake. Oh, I forgot to turn the fan off. I always turn my electric fan off before I make a pass down the track. I don't know how big a difference it makes, but every little bit counts. So I'll show y'all a screenshot of the data I got, and anyways, so far I'm liking it.
All right, so I'm gonna circle the ET and have a pointy finger on the 60 foot.
Hey guys, we're here with another rainy Thursday night. It's beginning to be a bit of a theme. So hanging out with Homely G, and we're gonna put this on tonight. It's an electric coolant temperature sensor. So my dash is just all kinds of screwy. When I first got the car, there was some real questionable wiring, and I thought I took care of most of it or all of it, and maybe I did, maybe I missed something, I don't know, but we're just gonna put a gauge in it. That way I can trust it. Just on the note with gauges, I don't want to badmouth, but Fords don't always have good gauges.
For real though, I had a 91 and the coolant temperature gauge would go up anytime you messed with the light. So play with the headlights, the brights, the blinkers, you can just watch the temperature gauge go up and up and up.
So just be mindful of that. If you have low oil pressure, or you know, before you go putting a motor in your car, put a real gauge on it and check. And as far as, you know, your other stuff, just double check your gauge before you go buying parts to fix something, because the gauge tells you, you know, something's not right. So that's what we're doing tonight. Yesterday I made my first pass using my Dragy, and it was cool. I want to do it again. I want to do it a little better, in a better place. We have three days of rain scheduled. It rained all day. It is just cold and wet, so it'll be a while before I get to make my second pass, but we'll go ahead and knock this out. I probably won't film a bunch of it, but that's what's going on. What's in the box? Okay, so we got the gauge, and here we have an adapter that will screw down into the intake, and this right here is the sensor. Just one thing I wanted to say, maybe it'll help you, maybe you already know. This goes over here on the driver's side. Yeah, down here where this little boot, kind of boot looking plug is, that's where it goes. That's the one I'm going to take out. So the driver, just maybe help you remember, the driver's side goes to the dash, and over here on the passenger side where you could put one, this goes to your computer. So you don't want to unhook that one. You want to leave that be so the computer can get a signal and know when to run open loop and close loop. Just kind of an old school trick. In the wintertime, if you want to run a little richer and you think it'll benefit you, you can unplug that. And computer will richen up the mixture. But yeah, that's what's in the box. That's what's going on. Alright. What's up? You know, every time I work on this car, I want to ditch the AC. The mechanic in me wants to ditch the AC. But the daily driver side of me says don't do it. The AC in this car works. The heat works. Leave it alone. And I do intend on daily driving this car one day. It still needs a radiator and tag and insurance and maybe a couple other things I've forgotten. But anyways, I have to fight that urge to take the AC and power steering off. It's actually make quite a driver. It's got AC, heat, power steering. It's automatic, so it's you know, it'll be a pleasant car to drive to work every day. I'm about to put this bushing in. For this sensor, you don't need to use Teflon tape. I guess any kind of sensor, electrical sensor that you would put in the block of your car, you don't want Teflon tape because you want the fitting to ground, so you'll actually get a signal. Otherwise, your gauge will be dead. So that's the tech tip for today. So I'm using a little bit of RTV, and here we go. Come on, baby, start. Did it start? I don't know. There we go. It started. Yay. That's one for us. Whew. Yeah, it feels good to come home and work on the car. I have been working on a 1,000-ton hydraulic press brake for the past week, and I've got some old manuals, little bits and pieces. I don't know what I'm doing. I can read, I can figure things out, but I don't know what I'm doing. But anyways, old Mustang is kind of my comfort zone. Feels good to actually know what I'm doing. I come home and unwind in the garage. Come on, baby. All right, buddy, it's in. It is in. This stuff is gross. All right. Well, yep, that's good. All right, guys, I'll shut it down for a second. You know, if you couldn't see the wires hanging out like that, it wouldn't look too bad. It's wired up and anyway, that's it. This is temporary. My future plan is a radio delete plate. Whether I buy it or make it, I'll just do a blank plate there, and I'll mount the gauge and the fan switch and anything else I need to put in there. So, hey, good enough for me. All right, guys, round 2 with the Dragy. We're gonna go try again. Let's see. Temperature's about the same as it was the other day. It might be a little cooler. That would be to our advantage. I cannot talk. I get so tongue-tied so easy. Let's see. I aired the back tires up from 14 up to 17 because it didn't spin at all. So a little more tire pressure, I think it can handle. And one of my front tires was down to 36, so I pumped it back up to 44. So let's go see what happens. Alright guys, we're about to make a rip. The car does not have mufflers right now. Cut them off when we put the lower control arms on. So yeah, let's hit it.
So Richard wanted to get some in-car footage and show him using the Dragy, and instead kind of blew the tires off and just leaned into it, which was pretty awesome. So thanks for filming that, Richard. Glad that you're able to pull out of it fine. And eventually, I think you already mentioned it, he wants to take the Dragy to the track and see how it compares with section or wherever he can go. But that is it. Until next time.